Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crunkest Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. If you ain't saw American Skin, you missed the movie of the year, partner. But the question is, they say life imitates art. I've been telling y'all for a minute what it's gonna take. If you ain't watched the movie, you better start. Man, we gonna talk about it tonight. And don't get nervous either. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. Without you guys, we would not have a show, so we really appreciate you tuning in, taking time out to hang out with us. And just want to tell you a happy Groundhog Day or whatever day it is. You know, you believe in all this crazy shit, whatever day it is. I'm going to start it off by saying June 23rd. Okay, the state of Texas is not locked down. So June 23rd, I am having my very first campaign fundraiser for my school board run.
January
23rd. You cats and cadettes, told me that you wanted me to run, and I fell for it again. But we got to raise a little money. So if you want to stop by, you don't even have to stay if you're concerned about the COVID. Stop by, drop the check off or drop the cash off. We'll make sure that we buy the stuff that we need to get this campaign run going, because I want to hit the streets and I want to knock on every single door in District 9 in the next 11 months. No questions about it. Right now, in school news, the Houston Independent School District has yet to pick a board president. They started last Thursday. They couldn't pick one. And it's quite simple as to why they couldn't pick one. Nobody in the room trusts nobody. Nobody trusts nobody. I've never seen it happen in 8 years. We do not have a school board president. We're still stuck with the last one that we had. So that'll tell you how bad off we are. So, on the 23rd, 8616 Cullen Boulevard, 3:00 p.m., stop by. We're going to have an intimate discussion about education. And please, whatever you do, fix your eyes, put your glasses on, because I will not have a suit on. I will be dressed comfortably dealing with the cold, and you ain't seen no cold until you come to Minnesota. It is what it is. Donovan, what's going on, my brother?
Well, I'm going to have to disagree. Being stationed 4 years in Alaska, I've seen some cold, 60 below, up in Barrow, Alaska, 60 below. But anyway, you guys, everybody is so excited because, as you guys know, Joe Biden has put out all of the executive orders that came out of his mouth that he said is unconstitutional, what he can't do. For the next 10 days, he's going to be doing executive orders that he said again is unconstitutional, what he can't do. That is out there. The main goal of that is 11 million Hispanics and whatever you want to call it, immigrants, he is going to bring into legalization. That is his mantra to the Democratic Party. That's going to be his toe the line procedure. But since most of you guys out there voted for this clown and this clown administration, the mass incarceration ticket, because you got Ray and Pookie and Uncle Arthur that have been locked up since 1993 on a minor marijuana charge under this man's law, that you haven't heard him say anything about correcting it, repealing it, or anything. So there's going to be a pre-inauguration festivity tomorrow. And you Negroes are going to be out there because that's the one thing y'all love to do. You guys love symbolism and you love dancing and singing. So let me just give you a quick analogy of the inauguration thing that's going to happen. And Black voters nationwide helped deliver Biden's presidency, overwhelmingly supporting him from the start of his White House bid to the end of it, blah, blah, blah. But let me give you some of the people. Tony Allen is the CEO of the Inauguration Committee. Check this out. It's going to have from Blacks, Latinos, Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders. God, they didn't invite the white folks. But anyway, some of the speakers are going to be Jim Crow Clyburn of South Carolina. Stacey Abrams is going to be a speaker. Cedric Richmond from the Congressional Black Talkers. Joyce Betty, the chairman of the Congressional Black Talkers, Cory Booker, and incoming senator from Georgia, Reverend Raphael Warnock. And you're going to have the sorority international president, whoop, 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 Dr. Glenda Glover, and Howard University president, Dr. Wayne Frederick. They're going to deliver remarks. And the event's going to have DJ, my man. You could call me the 808, but you need to call me D Nice. Black cultural icons is Frankie Beverly, the OJs, Rhapsody. It's going to be hosted by Terrence J and featuring the lovely Leslie Jones. So you guys have fun, because it doesn't make sense to me that you guys could all do all that shit, but you can't do nothing for yourself. You do it for everybody else, but you can't do anything for yourself that's going to help you, like the reparations situation and the economic peril. You keep voting in these Negroes like Jim Clyburn, who wants to put a hymn as the national hymn, like we don't need reparations or we don't need police reform. But that's what he wants to put into the congressional record. That's his priority. Demetra?
You done pissed off a couple of people in the comment section, but oh well, it's what we do here, right? We didn't vote for Biden or Trump, if that makes you feel any better. But anyway, before we get to the movie, I just want to say, too, that Trump is supposed to be pardoning Lil Wayne. So him posing with the MAGA hat, and all that wasn't in vain. Also, Sylvester Turner and Bow Wow, I guess they're going at it on Twitter. They got a Twitter beef, y'all. Bow Wow had a party in Houston, and it was busting at the seams with people not wearing masks. And they were coming from all over. And so I guess Sylvester, Mayor Sylvester Turner pointed out Bow Wow for doing it. And Bow Wow was like, yo, why are you singling me out? So it was a little back and forth. But I say, I'm not mad at Bow Wow. Morally, is Bow Wow wrong? Yeah, I guess he's wrong. He could have said, well, the COVID is going on. Let's not do it. But you know whose fault it really is? It's the governor and it's the mayor, because they could have shut this down. But they didn't. They wanted to keep the economy open. And guess what happened at that party? A lot of money was made. Gary, you want to speak on that before we get to the movie?
Yeah, I'm not a big Bow Wow fan, and I'm definitely not a Turner fan. But I will say this here, the mayor picked and chooses, what venues or establishments that he wants to drag through the mud. Go drag your people over there on Alameda through the mud. Because they masquerading as a restaurant. There ain't nothing but a party going on. But they on your campaign finance report. So undoubtedly, whoever is not on this campaign finance report is a problem. You said the right people. The governor is the problem. If the mayor had any nuts, he'd been shutting things down a long time ago, or he'd have been trying to shame people a long time ago. Don't shame that establishment. Don't shame those people that own that building. Shame your people who own your campaign finance report. And I know that for a fact. They donate money to you. You let them put voting machines in their buildings, the whole 9 yards, and they supposed to be a restaurant. That motherfucker ain't nothing but a party, man. And you want to get out here and pick and choose who you want to check? Bow Wow should have bit his ass.
So anyway, I didn't say this before, but welcome to Monday night edition of the War Zone. And if you haven't already, could you please share this so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation? We are going to be talking about American Skin, by that of Nate Parker, backed by Spike Lee. And so I'm going to try my best not to ruin it for you guys, because I'm not really good at telling movies without spoiling it. But I will say this. It's about a man who lost his son due to police brutality, if you will. And he decides to, get some get back, for a lack of better words. And that's really all I'm going to say about it. It's on Amazon Prime for $6.99. It's worth the buy. Get together with your family and watch it. I mean, you go to the movies, you're going to spend how much? $100 for a family of four for tickets and popcorn and all of the above. So, help keep, Nate Parker and Spike Lee afloat by renting the movie on Amazon. It's really, really must-watch movie. A lot of people took it. They had a problem with the ending. I didn't have a problem with the ending, but again, I won't talk about it because I know a lot of you guys probably haven't seen it. So I guess maybe if we're going to talk about the movie, we should say it's some spoiler alerts. So if you haven't seen the movie, maybe you want to watch this particular Warzone after you've watched the movie, because unfortunately we are going to be doing some spoilers. So Gary.
Yeah, you just stepped on some toes, and you stepped on some toes, and I probably stepped on a couple too. I just kept telling myself, I said, man, I don't have the time to watch it. I don't have time. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, the hell with it. Let me see what's going on. I'm dog tired, sleepy. But when I fired it up, I couldn't turn it off. Because it was everything that I've been saying for the last 10 years of how people are gonna end up handling these things. And these are the types of movies that Spike gets in trouble for. And they don't want him to do these types of movies. So the only thing I can say, Nate Parker, you running with an outlaw, my brother. He a good outlaw because he gonna tell the truth in his movies, and just keep running with it, man. You ain't got to put it in a theater. You'll do what you do right there on Amazon Prime and spots like that. But exceptional movie to me, the movie of the year. I think it has Oscar implications. You know, it was just too real. It was just like what you see every day on the news. But how do we handle what's going on? And if Donovan speaks for, when he speaks of the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing over and over and you expecting different results. Say, bro, that ain't the definition of insanity, but I expected it to end exactly the way it ended. I definitely expected that. There's no way in hell they were gonna let him walk out. So, spoiler, they weren't gonna let him walk out. But it is what it is. But I think we should, get to the point of having a discussion, since everybody, some people are upset about the Joe Biden comment and the Bow Wow comment, and they like holding Turner nuts for him, for his friends. How do we address, what's the real way of addressing wrongful police shootings? What's the real way for addressing it? Because sending out, your man's Crump and Lee Merritt to get justice, it ain't happening. They getting a bunch of money, but ain't no justice happening. So how do we really address this stuff, man? Donovan?
Well, see, here's my thing, and this is what I always ask when people give me a little pushback, and that's why this is one of the best shows and the hottest show on the internet, because our conversation is talking about real issues that affect us. Now, in what I just said, what did I say that wasn't true? You didn't like the way I said it? Because I put the article in the comments for those that want to look at it. And, for those of you that like symbolism and all that stuff, I just read you a lineup that is the lineup. I like D-Nice. I have nothing against D-Nice. But see, that's our problem. When we don't like the narrative, we get upset. 80% of you out there can't even afford to go to a HBCU. So how is that affecting you? You can't even afford to go. Why? You ain't got no money. But that's what Joe Biden wants to give money to. Who did Trump give money to? The HBCUs. 80% of Black people can't afford to go to HBCUs. So how is that not true? All of these people, Warnock, Stacey Abrams, all these people, look at their records. They don't do anything for Black people. They technically don't. Yeah, okay, you galvanized some people to vote. Great, we voted. Are you guys aware? And this is what really, really bothers me. The people that get in the comments with their feelings. Oh, we got him. We got Warnock. He's going to the thing. Do you guys know that was a special election? He's only in there for 2 years. And he barely beat a candidate that was basically a walking zombie. That was one of the worst candidates I have ever seen in my political career run a campaign. White woman. And he barely won with 2% separating the two candidates. Special election. You guys act like in 2 years, this man's going to go in there and do all kinds of crazy shit. I hope Stacey Abrams keeps her organization going, because that's what it's going to take. Because as we know, this brother's going to get in there, and then we're going to fall off like we usually do, and the Republicans are going to come back, or another candidate's going to come back. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, Black Girl Magic, Doug Jones, remember that guy? What happened to him? You guys, oh, we got Doug Jones in there. We're the backbone of the Democratic Party. Okay, well, if you're the backbone of the Democratic Party, why did Doug Jones get blown out in Alabama? But see, I'm throwing facts at you. You guys are throwing feelings.
So yeah, all right. So I want to talk about the movie just a little bit. So Spike Lee, I guess I don't know how to describe his role in this movie, but I want to say he's backing Nate Parker. Now, I watched an interview about 2 years ago. As you guys know, Nate has a past that white supremacy and some shea butter Twitter sisters will not let go. You guys know he was accused of rape over 20 years ago. He was acquitted, found not guilty. It was a relationship gone bad. And, she hollered rape on him. And anyway, he was acquitted of that. And so every time, now, let's just say this. Nate Parker has been acting for a while, hasn't he? He's been acting for a while. But when he started to produce movies like Birth of a Nation, then they bring up these rape allegations and this, that, and the other. And so the reason why I'm saying all that is because Spike Lee was like, hey, you know what? We're not going to demonize Nate Parker. I'm behind him because he's a good dude. And, unfortunately, people like to bring up, nonsense when it comes to Black people. And that goes to your point, Ricky. How you doing, by the way? You say, yo, the general is right. It was real as it gets. I'm just waiting to see what kind of flack Spike Lee is going to get. Spike Lee don't care. Spike Lee does not care. And I know you know that, Ricky. Spike Lee doesn't care. He's been producing movies that would make white supremacy raise an eyebrow for a very long time. But I think because Spike Lee got behind Nate, I think he was able to get a pass because, when Birth of a Nation came out, they tanked the movie. He got his $17 million from Fox Searchlight, but it should have done greater things. But white supremacy, and like I said, a lot of other Black women, it was quite a few Black women that helped tank that movie. And so as far as an Oscar, yeah, I think it's Oscar award winning worthy. But I don't think white people are going to give Nate Parker an Oscar for that because it was too real, first of all. And I get why the end of the movie ended the way it did is because I think Nate and Spike Lee were smart. Okay, because you can't have, we know rightfully it should have been an eye for an eye, but as far as these Hollywood studios go, they weren't going to let Nate produce a movie where he kills the cops. That wasn't going to fly because you guys got to remember they don't want to give Black people ideas like, we should do the same thing. So I think that's why they chose that ending. I could be wrong. I'm probably very wrong, but I think that's why they chose that end. But yeah, I definitely think it's Oscar worthy. I just don't know if they'll give him one. And who cares, by the way, Gary?
I don't give a damn. They don't give it to him. Keep making them movies, Nate. Keep making them movies, Spike. That's how I feel about it. I mean, when it comes to making movies, we don't have a problem with the movie people making the movies to glorify the white gangsters. Or to glorify white boy Rick, stuff like that. They cocaine people, the cocaine cowboys, But when it comes to Black people, you look at Nate now compared to Birth of a Nation. They didn't attack him now because they can deal with this story. We can deal with this story, but we can't let the true history of the Black man be exposed in Birth of the Nation. We got to tank that. You ain't no Me Too come out. He's still the same Nate Parker. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see that. They didn't want us to know the real. And that's why when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at some of these comments that y'all making to my friend Donovan, you really need to go watch some of these movies, man. Then you would understand what he's saying. See, you don't want to understand. Me, I'm not gonna belabor the point. I don't give a fuck. if Joe Biden get in there and turn this motherfucker upside down. I didn't vote for him. Didn't have no faith in him. Didn't have no faith in Kamala. I'm not wearing no motherfucking pearls and no chucks. None of that shit. You go do whatever you want to do. Because when it's all said and done, my man said, what did Trump do in 4 years? Everybody, that man named what the fuck they done did in over 4 years. See, you need to watch these Spike Lee movies, man. You need to watch them and you need to understand them. You know, people watch Crooklyn and don't even understand it. You have to understand what Spike has a message in every single movie, man. He has a message in every single movie. God bless him, because he's made my life a little bit better with some of the movies that he's made. And, you know, one of my favorite characters of all time from a Spike Lee movie was Gator. Dancing in his mama highs, because that's how some of y'all crackhead asses was back in the day.
Yeah, I used to like, for one of his first movies, She's Gotta Have It, John Canada Terrell. You know, the guy that was like the real geeky type guy, kind of reminded me of myself a little bit. But yeah, but a lot of these movies that are out there, and this is what really bothers me about the people that, you know, that claim they're woke, and yet, you know, they keep voting for oppression and they don't realize it. And like I said, I understand you don't realize you're voting for oppression. A movie like Birth of the Nation, which really could have put something in your head, you won't go see, but you'll go see a Medea movie that has slapstick. It's funny, you know, we know all that, but it really doesn't do anything but give you Kool-Aid to keep you happy and distracted. But these movies, I haven't seen this movie yet, but I'm going to go see it because Demetra threatened me if I didn't. You know, these are things that have, like the 5-star says, there's a message in the movies. But whatever happened to TV shows and movies that used to give us messages? Remember Good Times? There wasn't an episode in Good Times that didn't have a message that pertained to Black people specifically.
Well, what was one of the biggest messages? When all of a sudden James go get a job, you kill him off and you separate the Black family.
Right. Exactly. That shows you how pivotal the Black man is in the family. If the Black man is gone, the family is disarrayed. Not saying that women can't hold it down. Yes, you can, but unfortunately, a woman can't teach those sons how to be men. So that's the biggest thing. But this is what this show, the Black media, all kinds of stuff out there is trying to get what you guys to think about something different. We're not always right, but we're damn sure not always wrong.
Yeah, and so the movie is most definitely a must see. Well, for one, we need to start getting behind our own people who are producing content that's for us. And one of the lines that I really liked in the movie is when his uncle, you know, and I'm sorry, spoilers, please. I'm just letting y'all know spoilers. When his uncle got shot, and you know he was trying to get him out of there to go get help and all of that. And the uncle says, no, I'm paraphrasing because, you know, I don't know line by line, but he says, I'm staying here. He says, if I die because of you, I've already lived. And I know I messed it up. But basically what he was saying is, what you're doing here, it has liberated me. You know, we're fighting for freedom. We're fighting against the system. We're fighting the oppressor who has taken our loved one. And so I'm already free in this moment. You taking a stand against, you know, these brutally murderous police who kill Black people wholesale and think that, you know, that's what they're supposed to be doing. If you are perceived to be speeding in a neighborhood, I get to stop you and murder your son. I get to murder your son, and then I get to go home to my wife and eat that dry ass casserole and, you know, not even bat an eye over what I just did. And so that, to me, that was the biggest moment in the movie for me, when the uncle said that you have liberated me by, and he was older, uncle was older. You liberated me, you know, by doing what you're doing. That's what I took from it. But, you know, for those of you guys who are, you know, feeling a certain type of way about what was said about Joe Biden, I mean, I just wish y'all would fight for Black people as hard as y'all fight for Joe Biden and white supremacy. You know, the minute somebody brings up Joe Biden, I want to know what we've done for ourselves and what did Trump do? But yet, Joe Biden is giving you almost 50 years of history to show that he's he never has, for one thing, and he's not going to do anything specifically for Black people. But you guys would rather argue with people who are like you than to really hold Joe Biden accountable. That's why he gets away with it. That's why he gets in a meeting with these Black leaders and talk to them like nigglets in the cotton field because of people like you guys. He knows you guys will defend him, even if he says, I'm going to make a legal pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented immigrants. And he said, I'm not giving you reparations. I'm not going to do something, feel responsible for something my ancestors did. And Kamala sit up there and say, are you kidding me? I'm not going to do something that's just only going to benefit Black people. No, y'all not mad at that. But y'all mad at Black people for trying to tell the truth and trying to enlighten you about who Joe Biden and Kamala are. Yeah, Trump needed to go. I think we can all admit that. He has some issues. But what did we, I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm talking about Black people. What did we really get by getting Joe Biden and Kamala in the White House? Like Donovan said, that is the mass incarceration ticket. And then you Negroes like to say, well, he's doing some crime reform, but he ain't telling you he's the reason for the crime reform. He said it himself. Since 1976, I am the author of every major and minor crime bill. But yet, nobody wants to talk about that. He is the reason for the reform. So I would ask you, before you get mad at Black people for trying to wake your sleepy ass up, ask yourself, well, are they telling the truth, or am I just in my feelings because I like defending white people no matter what they do to Black people?
I'm going to say this here. The movie was enjoyable to me for one reason, because ain't none of the characters turned gay. All of them were strong Black men. They didn't turn gay. And you know what? You say defend black people, am I right? You're right. That's what you said, Dimitri, right? Well, I think I'm gonna go and defend a Black man.
Don't delete him.
Delvin Townsend. My friend just pulled me off your ass because you are very, very disrespectful. She just pulled me off your ass. So if what she's saying is wrong, I'm a strong Black man. I'm an advocate for education for Black children. I don't give a damn what city you in. Where can you make do you have the information to make a campaign contribution to my school board run? I'm a strong Black man. I leave it on the floor for the Black children. Been doing it forever. Been sick doing it the whole 9 yards. So where would you like to send your campaign contribution? A matter of fact, Dimitri, let me help him, because other than that, if he opens his mouth the wrong way, then I know how to push a certain button. So why don't you send it here? Why don't you support a strong Black man? You can't get mad at the messenger. You get what you want for the next 4 years. You get what you want for the next 4 years. And you cannot understand or fathom the attitude that you have, and you're supporting these people that at the end of the day don't give a fuck about us. This is why we don't have shit. This is why we're in the position that we're in. I'm not finna get out in the streets and sing and dance for now cocksucker that's in politics right now. Never done it, ain't gonna do it. Because if you really had a clue how they felt about us, you wouldn't be putting on your goddamn chucks and pearls. You better understand that when it's all said and done, you are a nigger to them. You will live in your nigger space until you die your nigger death. And what's so sad, it's the niggers who gonna remind you of that. You can't even get up the food chain to get to Joe Biden because the niggers gonna stop you. So, man, let's be respectful. Watch how you talk to my partner, man. He just the messenger. Because I'd be damned if I don't defend that strong black man. But like I say, I just gave you the information. We waiting on it today, homeboy. Or are you just running your mouth like 99% of these cocksuckers in the United States of America?
Exactly. And like I said, Delvin, this is the greatest conversation you're ever going to have on the net. We are not always right, but we're not always wrong. I am still waiting for you to tell me what Joe Biden is going to do. And I'm not here to challenge you as an adversary. We're having a conversation. You asked me what has Donald Trump did. I named you a few things off the top of my head. Now, I'm asking you, what do you think Joe Biden is going to do for us? And just like your answer, nothing. That's what I expect. He's going to do nothing. So, we could agree to disagree and all that other good stuff. But again, this is why we have the show. It's not about feelings and, all this other stuff. Because think about it. Right now, Joe Biden is going into office. And I wish him well. And I hope he does something. But we didn't ask for nothing. We didn't demand anything. So I hope he does something when he gets in there. However, look at what this is all a game. That's why I'm known as the recovering Democrat, because I realize no matter if I vote Republican, which I've never done, or if I vote Democrat, white supremacy is one group. And these two parties are made to support white supremacy at the end of the day. Because if you follow my channel, I have shown over and over again Black representatives that have the same color skin as you and I, that have been in office for 30 years, some of them 20 years. They've never, I'm just holding the Black representatives responsible. They've never even introduced legislation that helps Black people. Do you want to know the reason why Sheila Jackson Lee reintroduced HR 40? Is because the new Black media and shows like this keep harping on it. And now the new thing that she introduced has a financial component to it. We don't need no damn study. She's been trying to get that thing. They've been trying to get that thing for over 30 years. Why does it take 30 years when it comes to something that is common sense? Did the Asians wait 30 years to get their money? And did they go through a study? Did the Jews wait 30 years and go through a study? This is the kind of stuff that we're trying to tell you and anybody else that is interested what's going on, and it's going to hit a bulb in your head. You're going to be like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. Why are we waiting? Let's start holding our representatives accountable. If you want to be a Democrat, that's fine. You go ahead and be a Democrat. I've learned my lesson, because I can't keep voting for a party or any party that doesn't have my agenda. And reparations is my agenda.
And Delvin, I don't know if he's still here. I don't see his comments, but excuse my French. If you got kids in the room, please plug their ears for just a second. Delvin, you mad that Trump grabbed some pussy, but you not mad that Joe Biden has locked up countless amount of Black people and have destroyed a whole generation of Black people. You're more mad at Trump doing that. I mean, it's disgusting. Don't get me wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. But that's what you remember is Trump grabbing somebody's kitty cat, and you're more mad at that than with the destruction that Joe Biden and his legislation it has caused the Black people. Like, what planet do you live on? Because I never want to go there. Like, wake up. It's like at this point, like, I don't even have these conversations really with people anymore, especially our people, because we like the state of being mentally dead. And I don't even think a lot of us realize how dead we are. Like, you defend white supremacy like it's your mama. And I don't get it. White supremacy has done nothing for you to even defend them like that. I get it. It's ingrained in some of us. We just can't see speaking against massa. I love him so much. We can't see doing it. I mean, like, Massa don't even have to get up out of his chair. You're going to beat him to it to defend him. That is sick. Stop doing that. And the other crazy part is, a lot of y'all, especially today, is, Martin Luther King's birthday. And, people keep talking about, oh, I have a dream. No, stop talking about that. That was the mild part of Martin Luther King when he was talking about we should all get together and all this other stuff. Let's talk about the other stuff he talked about, like we going to get our check. Let's and talk about how he felt like he was integrating his people into a burning house. He woke up toward the end of his death, which is why he's not here. He stopped singing that kumbaya stuff. Martin was mad. So again, like, you know, like wake up. I just, it's disturbing to me. Like I've heard, and I'm almost 50, so I've seen a lot, but just the level of just the way y'all defend white supremacy, it almost makes me want to vomit. And I don't think you realize how sick you are.
I'm gonna read Tanaya Smith's message. Unfortunately, you diffuse your message when you constantly degrade your guests. You can agree to disagree respectfully for the 100 healing and respect for all blacks first. So we should respect our guests, but they don't have to respect us. We should sit here and be talked about. We've been called everything under the sun, coons and sellouts and everything else, but we shouldn't say anything. Well, guess what? This ain't fucking PBS. This ain't the Merv Griffin show. This where it get real at. Because we three real motherfuckers that deal with three real issues, deal with issues every day. Now, you spoke on King, and I've been waiting for it to come. I have a dream. I'd have made dreams come true in 3 years. Damn, there's 70 years the dream ain't happened. And we still dreaming. And for my man that talking that shit about Trump, by grabbing by the pussy, watch me dip. I'm gonna hit you real. You say we speak real, don't we? Wasn't King grabbing someone by the pussy? Wasn't he getting some pussy outside of the house? You don't want to talk to me because I'm gonna give it to you straight up. And more importantly, why are we worrying about Donald Trump grabbing somebody by the pussy when you sucker ass motherfuckers out there tricking women out of pussy? You trash. You today, I didn't even glorify today because we don't live in the spirit of King. We don't live in the spirit of King. The one thing I loved about the Medgar Evers and the Fred Shuttlesworths and all them cats back then, they had balls. And they stood up the best way that they knew how. Now, some of us may be saying, oh, I wouldn't have did it that way. But regardless of how they did it, they did it. You motherfuckers don't stand up for nothing but just trying to get up in the club on a Friday night. You're standing at line. So, man, think about, I ain't even trying to get to where some of y'all are going, because we ain't going the same motherfucking place. Here she go. Angela Thompson, why we worried about Biden? What he did years ago? Fuck Joe Biden. Why we worried about R. Kelly? We got this man locked up in a motherfucking jailhouse for supposedly some young pussy he got years ago. Now tell me he don't need to be out. You can't pick and choose who passed that you want to vilify. Y'all holding the dick of these people that don't give a damn about you. So if that's the case, why we worried about Bill Cosby pass? Everybody was on motherfucking Quaaludes in the 70s. You got this old ass man locked up because he tried to buy NBC. This ain't about no goddamn Quaaludes. You killed Prince off because he wanted his fucking masters. You killed Michael Jackson off the same way. You got rid of R. Kelly. You silenced my man Nick Cannon. You threw Grandmaster Jay in motherfucking jail. Y'all don't see what these people doing? Niggas.
So yeah, I mean, we can go on and on and on. And, especially for you guys that are regulars on the show, we are unapologetic about what we're trying to do here. Like I said, a lot of you guys that tuned in and woke up like that. Some people took the short bus to school, and that's okay. You know, we're going to work with you. But, you know, today is Martin Luther King's birthday. But see, nobody ever, like Dimitri just educated you, nobody talks about how at the end of his life, toward that end, he realized he led his people into a burning building. When Martin Luther King came out and said, I'm going to talk against the Vietnam War, because remember, him and LBJ were like that. He's our man. He's our man in the White House. Nobody's done more for Negroes than Lyndon Baines Johnson. The reason why King spoke out against the Vietnam War was the fact that black people, number one, and people of color were the majority of the people fighting that war. Thus, Muhammad Ali said, ain't no Vietnamese ever called me nigga. And he wanted to pull his people out of there. So you got to know the whole story. And again, a lot of people that come on this show don't know the whole story. There's an old saying, Dimitri's dad says it a lot. You want to hide something from a black person? Put it in a book. You're not going to look for it. You guys rather, you know, watch the Netflix story and think that that's factual. Some things in movies are factual, but if you read the real story of it, you're going to find out they kind of changed it for whatever drama that there is to it. But if you're really interested, go look at the real story. Go research it. Damn it, you got smartphones. Google some of this shit.
And Andre, we know that is not his birthday. Today is the day that there's the government has decided to celebrate it. But yes, we all know that it's
disrespectful in his motherfucking self.
Huh?
That's disrespectful in itself. You celebrate Washington on his fucking birthday. You celebrate Lincoln on his fucking birthday. But King got to get another day. That's because they didn't want to do the shit to begin with.
Yeah, and you know, just to piggyback off of what Donovan said about the Vietnam War, my dad was one of them. They tried to draft him 3 times, and they kept sending him back round and round to the psychologists because he kept saying, you know, I'm an Asiatic black man. My father has been a Muslim, a Nation of Islam, since he was 19, over 50 years, and so he says, I'm not going to fight a war for y'all when I got to come back here and I don't have rights as a black man. I'm not going to do that. And, you know, unfortunately, he escaped going to prison for 5 years. But yeah, so same thing, like you said, with Muhammad Ali. This is not my war. And by then he had got into the Nation of Islam. And so he knew better. But I want to say this, since we are speaking of Muhammad Ali. Regina King came out with a movie. And I love Regina King. So it's going to pain me a lot to say this. I love Regina King, but she made a movie, One Night in Miami, that featured Jim Brown, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Sam Cooke. Okay. Now it was kind of like a fictitious conversation, although some of the things that was said was, you know, a known fact. But to me, in my very unhumble opinion, it was a hit piece on the Nation of Islam, Minister Louis Farrakhan, and Elijah Muhammad. And I'm sad that they used, or Regina King allowed herself to be used by white supremacy in order to do that. Because we know that they weren't going to let her make a movie about those guys and not dirty or try to dirty the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And, you know, I just, as a black woman, it's also going to pain me to say this. I really hate that we as black women jump in bed with white supremacy to do our own people in. For what? A check? Regina King has a lot of money. She didn't need to do that, but I get it. She wants to go to the next level. And so maybe she felt like that was the way to do it, or maybe people weren't going to pay attention, but people are paying attention. It was a hit piece. It like made no sense for her to continue to try to, I mean, it was like all throughout the movie, just randomly put here. Louis X this, you know, the Nation of Islam that. I mean, they even tried to make the Fruit of Islam look bad by talking bad, you know, about Sam Cooke in the movie calls the FOI assholes, you know, so, you know, I like I said, I like Regina King, but that was a horrible look.
Well, Regina King and anybody like her hates the fact that the minister is probably one of very few free truly free black men in the United States of America. There's nothing that the United States of America can do for the minister that he's not already done for himself. He doesn't have to wake up every morning and punch their clock. He's not going to allow him nor his people to fight their wars. If they shut down every white store in America, doesn't matter. They have their own. You see what I'm saying? So he's truly free. And the oppressor hates when we become free. You see what I'm saying? If they could shut this program down, they would shut it down. But you got 3 free black people up here that's just speaking the real. I'm looking at dudes that's pages getting blocked forever because they done said something in the last couple of days don't even make sense for the block to even happen. But see, I'm free. I don't have to beg these folk for nothing. I don't have to worry about getting up in the morning and it is Mr. Charlie gonna be okay with me being 5 minutes late. The minister don't do that. The minister a real G. And you know what? We don't even get mad when you attack him like that because we understand your level of ignorance. Regina King will never be free. She will never be free. Anybody that doesn't understand what I'm saying right now, you are a slave and they have shackles on your mind. Fuck your feet. They on your mind. You feel what I'm saying? So as far as I'll say it for him, because I get to say what I want. On behalf of my brothers in the Fruit of Islam, who've all I've seen do is help the community. On behalf of one of the greatest mentors I've ever had in my life, the good Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad, Southwest Student Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Kiss all our motherfucking asses. Kiss, I'll say it for him. You can kiss our Muslim ass.
And it kind of brings up a lot of stuff that I do on my outside of the show that I do. 24 years in the military, a lot of people in the military, the way the military structure is set up, it's structured in white supremacy. The way it's structured is white supremacy. You're going to do this because I outrank you and I said so. And most of the leadership in the military, as we know, those of us that have been in the military, is mostly white folks. So you can't tell me that it's not structured in white supremacy. Now, 24 years in the military, I have a lot of friends that are MAGA supporters, right? For the last couple of years, not one of those MAGA supporters has ever told me what I'm doing and what I'm saying is wrong. Not one. It's always us or a non-informed black person who wants to defend white supremacy. And a lot of my MAGA friends say that. Donovan, we ain't got to say a damn thing because your people are going to try to do everything they can to bring you down and bring your message down. Now, this is the guy that, we're totally polar opposites. Like right now, they just stormed the Capitol. My MAGA friends are silent because they know they fucked up. Number one, they know they fucked up. But if I called them traitors, if I called them this, they ain't going to sit here and try to get in an argument with me because they know what happened there was total bullshit. I've said this, and I'm going to continue to say this. White people do not believe in democracy. They don't. Democracy is for the people that they conquer. As long as you keep believing that your vote matters and this, all of this stuff, okay, I'm going to prove it to you. And I hope my man is still on that started earlier, Delvin or whatever his name is. They've got the House, the Senate, and the presidency. What's stopping them from giving us reparations? What's stopping them from wiping out student debt? What's stopping them from giving us a specific black agenda? They've got 4 years to get it done. What are you going to say in 4 years if nothing is done for us? But he's going to do for 11 million illegal citizens? How can you guys sit there and be cool with that? He's going to do for non-citizens before he does for tax-paying citizens. And here's another thing. A lot of you guys have lost your jobs out there. A lot of you guys, you know, your debt is astronomical now. $80 billion in unpaid rent and mortgages, they say. Over $80 billion and counting. Right now. A $2,000 check, one-time payment, right? $1,400, whatever you want to say, whatever it is. The Democrats for 8 months have been railing against the Republicans that that's not enough. The American people should get, like the other countries, you know, 75% of whatever they were making until this pandemic is over. Have you heard any Democratic legislator talking about doing that? What's stopping them from doing that? So we'll see.
So yeah, and I just kind of want to pivot back to the movie One Night in Miami. And so, I saw your comment. You say you disagree that it was a book and a stage play and all of that. And no, it wasn't about the NOI per se, but there was a lot of cheap shots woven throughout that movie that was really unnecessary. I mean, it just wasn't connected. I mean, I get they were trying to loosely explain why Malcolm wasn't with the nation anymore, but even that was a little bit off. So these are the problems that I have with the movie, among a lot of them. I like the directing and the acting. Malcolm's character kind of reminded me of Barack Obama. I didn't see Malcolm, I saw Barack Obama. But Regina King said that was a love letter to Black men. And I'm like, how is it a love letter to Black men when you are painting, you know, these beloved Black men in a negative light? Sam Cooke's character, you know, he was a white womanizer and he, you know, was drinking and just doing the most. Now, listen, I'm not saying Sam Cooke wasn't all of that, but that's not what he showed us of him. Now, obviously, you know, it was before our time, but from what we know of Sam Cooke, we never saw him unbuttoned like that and, you know, just swaggering drunk and, you know, they talk about you like white women and all that other stuff. And then Malcolm, they had him cursing. Again, I'm not saying he didn't curse, but we didn't see that of Malcolm publicly. So, you know, people kept saying, oh, well, you know, I think it was her way of trying to humanize them. It's like, that was her way of trying to humanize them by trying to, you know, make up something publicly about them that we didn't see of them ourselves. The other part that I didn't like is it had, and I believe, you know, Betty Shabazz had her issues. You know, her man was, you know, running for his life for whatever reason, but they just had her so angry. And this is like always Adam. Well, when are you going to say this? When are you going to say that? Well, why don't you tell him to go do this? Why did it? I mean, to me, that wasn't a love letter. As I'm going to stand 10 toes on this, I believe it was a hit piece on the Nation of Islam. That's just my opinion.
You know, every now and then they got to come with something. Every now and then they got to come with something to try to poison the minds of the people that's waking up. There's too many Black people that have woken up in 2020. So we got to figure out a way to poison their mind. You know, won't you tell us, you know, we glorifying all these goddamn politicians. Man, why don't y'all just go on and let this Jeffrey Epstein thing, let the cat out the bag so we can know who else was grabbing them by the pussy. Because there's a whole bunch of you freaking son of a bitches standing in front of cameras right now, running your mouth, that was grabbing young girls by the pussy on Epstein Island. Won't y'all tell that story? You know, Public Enemy, they didn't stop until they made Chuck them, they wouldn't let them do nothing no more. You know, Elvis was a racist. Chuck said it. Motherfuck him and John Wayne. But these are the people that you glorify. You know, I don't need a day on the calendar to celebrate Brother Malcolm. I celebrate him every day. I don't need a day on the calendar to celebrate my man Huey P. Newton. I celebrate him every day. You see what I'm saying? I celebrate the great ones every day. And I definitely will not celebrate King on a day that wasn't his birthday. If you don't have the respect to give him his national holiday on his birthday, no matter how it falls, then I will not celebrate that day. I will not indulge in that day. No matter what day Washington's birthday falls on, you celebrate it. Christopher Columbus? Oh, you talking about the murderer? You talking about the motherfucker that was just riding around in the ocean lost and came up on some land and he discovered something. But you give him his own day. Now I'm woke. You know, white America, sleep black America, my Latino brothers that don't want to hear it, my Asian brothers that don't want to hear it. I'm woke. Got all my motherfucking eyes open, and I'm telling y'all, don't fuck with me. You're gonna have a problem. I'm telling you, I'm woke. I'm woke. And when these eyes get to bucking, that thing get to bucking with it. I don't need no date. I'm gonna celebrate these brothers every chance I get.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is, as this conspiracy to overthrow the government is being unwound, this is why we have these conversations, and this is why we're trying to wake people up. Did you guys notice the different factions of white supremacy that was at that Capitol? So profound was white supremacy that you had white supremacy, as we've known for years, within the police department. They're vetting the military, the guard up there, the guard units up there, because white supremacy is prevalent. But guess what? They're all on the same page. Why can't we be on the same page? Not once has Delvin, I'm not trying to pick on you, Delvin, like that. Like I said, I'm still waiting for you to tell me what you think Biden is going to do for us in the next 4 years. But again, you know, you were quick to da. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because a lot of us are like that. You know, a lot of people, especially Black people, we don't get involved in politics or whatever unless it's a presidential election. So you talk about every 4 years. But do you realize the election that you need to worry about is the midterms? Your elected representative that's representing your district, that is the person you need to hold accountable. Now, what these white people did, the different factions of them did, do you think that their representative is going to go back with some bullshit talking about what they ain't going to do and whatever? If I was a representative in Congress right now, especially a white one coming from a white state that was elected by these white folks, I would be afraid for my life, because they were going in there to kick some ass. So I'm not telling you guys or myself or anybody else what to do, but there's a lot we can learn from this white man. They're walking around at major capitals. Now, these people are doing something other nations cannot even do to the United States. They are going to capital of states are under threat. And you've got guardsmen guarding state capitals right now, because the white people are fully armed to the teeth and ready to burn this motherfucker down, because they feel that their voice is not being heard and they're not taking it anymore. Which goes back to last summer. When our brother George Floyd was murdered, there was more legislation done in those weeks because we took to the streets and did what we had to do. But again, you know, I don't understand how, you know, you can look at this man's record, Joe Biden's record. 2 generations of Black families have been decimated because of this man's law. And we think something's going to be done. Delvin said, we're going to see in the next 100 days. Okay. I don't know what you're reading, Delvin, or where you're getting your source from, but his incoming chief of staff has already put out what is going to be happening in the first 100 days. And there is nothing of Blackness in that 100 days. So if you know something that we don't know, I would love to hear it.
Say, man, if it don't get done in the first 100, it ain't gonna get done. And that's all it boiled down to. Do I care? No, I don't give a damn what Joe do. Y'all go out there with your chucks and your pearls on, you still gonna be a nigga to them under their breath. They ain't gonna say it loud enough for you to hear. But you niggas did it for them. You niggas did it. You niggas got the one you wanted. You niggas are something else. You niggas. and you niggas ain't gonna get nothing out of the game. But as usual, you take crumbs off the pie. You don't want none of the pie, you'll take the crumbs. But if that's cool with you, it's cool with me. It doesn't matter to me. Because I'm free. I don't give a fuck who sit in the White House. Now, if they was over there in the Black House, we'll be having some discussions. But as long as they sit in the White House, I don't give a damn what they do. Nothing they do affects me. I don't care. So, final thoughts, Ms. Dimitri.
I want to leave my final thoughts with this. Speaking of what Joe Biden is going to do. So, Vox, which is like a news outlet, they say Biden's aggressive immigration agenda includes a path to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants, right? All right. So I guess he's a representative in New York. His name is Jamal Bowman. Okay, now this is his response, and he's a black man. He says, hell yes, I'm so fired up about this. Let's get citizenship to our undocumented family so we can reach our full potential as a nation and build the multiracial democracy we are meant to be. Our power is undeniable. And then he doubles down and says, I'm ready to use every avenue possible to pass citizenship for all 11 million undocumented immigrants and defund deportation of ICE and CBP. We'll push for bold policies because the immigrant youth movement is undeniable. And so I decided to read that for my closing comments because, as Donovan said, you have Joe Biden who is coming in and he's going to make a pathway to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants. And then you have black people who I'm sure a lot of black people voted for him to have his position that's going to do everything in his power. Everything in his power to make sure that they're here, because the immigrant youth are undeniable. And it's like, well, what about your people? What are you doing? That's all in your power to help your people. Are you in there, as excited about reparations as you are about, undocumented immigrants coming over here and, taking over? And then there's also that false idea that there's going to be this black and brown alliance. There's not going to be a black and brown alliance. It never will be, because brown people do not want to align with black people. They've already said that. Felix Tijerina said that in 1956. I'm not interested in aligning with black people. Their struggle is not my struggle. Let them fight their own battles. That's what he said. And he was the president of LULAC. And so I guess I'm trying to say is, while you guys are, championing that of Joe Biden, just think about what that really means. Because like Gary said perfectly, I won't use the N-word, but you guys get the point. That's all you are to them. But you got the big HNICs like this dude Bowman. He's going to use all of his power, his congressional power, to make sure that people who I don't want to say they don't belong here, but they're not supposed to be here legally, get what they're supposed to have before you get it.
Man, that sums it up for me, exactly what's going on. But you know what though? You guys are one of the greatest friends that we have out here, and we learn just as much from you guys as you guys, learn from us. We're up here, we're educated fools, but just like the general said, the difference between us and not all of you guys, but some of you guys is we're free. Economically, we're free. We come and go as we please. We're not punching no clock. We're not, we're free to go however we want to do. And all we want to do is give you guys a path to do that as well. And the only way that our problems in this nation is going to be solved is, number one, we got to increase our population, because we've been at 13% or so for 60 years or so. We got to increase our population. I'm not saying going out there and making babies and not taking care of them. I'm not saying that. But we need reparations, because that is the only way that we're going to address the wealth gap, our debt ratio, and so we can have economic base to control our politicians and to open up businesses and start our own communities. That is the only way. And if you got politicians that look like you, that don't have a black agenda, you got a problem.
You guys were definitely on it tonight. I'm free, and it feel good to be free. I don't have to worry about none of that's going on. Um, I think that I love the fact that you tune in. Some of y'all are very disrespectful some nights, so don't think we just gonna sit here and allow that to go on. You know, we gonna clap back on your ass. I promise you that. But that's what we do. We gonna clap back on your ass. You already know I'm gonna clap back. But ain't tomorrow the big day, y'all? Is it inauguration day tomorrow? Or is it Wednesday? It's
Yeah,
Wednesday.
it's Wednesday.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, because I think the people gonna go and they gonna cut up, and they set shit on fire last time they were down there. So I think every revolution needs a song. Every revolution needs a song. So I'm gonna end it like this here. But before we go, tomorrow night, Tasha Jackson got my hands on some documents for every business that your father, and your sister own. I also got a document that can prove that the land that y'all stole from your aunt, that the signatures on the document were forged. You either gonna resign your seat or I'm gonna send you to the federal penitentiary. The next time Five Star put a call in and tell one of you monkey ass politicians to call me, get off your high horse and call me. Go in there and ask your daddy, the mayor, should I call him? Even your daddy know I don't play. So tomorrow, I'm gonna expose your ass. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. That's our Black America. But I think the revolution need a theme song. So this for all my peoples that plan on cutting up. Say, man, I want to thank you for tuning in. It's been a spirited discussion with the best in the business. True Black Media, the War Zone. I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Call me Frosty right now. But for my people Wednesday, y'all know what it is. Until tomorrow night.